Once upon a time, in a small and peaceful village surrounded by green fields and tall mountains, there lived a kind and hardworking farmer named John. John was known throughout the village for his generosity, honesty, and his willingness to help others. He lived in a modest house at the edge of the village with his wife, Mary, and their 2 children, Anna and Peter. John owned a small piece of land where he grew a variety of vegetables such as tomatoes, carrots, potatoes, and beans. Every morning, without fail, John woke up before the sun rose. He would quietly get out of bed, careful not to wake his family, and head out to his fields. John loved his land and treated it with great care, just as he did with his family and friends. John's daily routine was simple, but filled with hard work. After a hearty breakfast prepared by Mary, he would spend hours working in the fields. He watered the plants, removed weeds, and ensured that the soil remained healthy. John believed that the secret to good crops was not only hard work, but also love and care. His neighbors often observed him and admired his dedication. They would sometimes stop by and ask, "John, why do you work so hard? You always seem to be out here, tending to your crops." John would smile and reply, "Caring for the land is like caring for life. When we give love and attention to the land, it gives back to us in abundance. The crops we grow are not just food. They are the result of our hard work and patience." One year, the village faced a severe drought. The rains that usually nourished the fields did not come. The sun blazed in the sky, and the once fertile land began to crack and dry. The villagers were deeply worried. Without water, their crops began to wither, and many feared they would not have enough food to survive. Despite the drought, John remained hopeful. Every day he carried water from the village well to his fields, using it sparingly to keep his crops alive. His family helped him as much as they could. Anna and Peter would carry small buckets of water, and Mary would help by preparing meals and taking care of the household chores. The villagers watched in amazement as John's crops continued to grow. While their fields remained dry and barren, John's small piece of land remained green and full of life. They began to wonder how John managed to keep his crops healthy when everyone else was struggling. One day, a group of villagers approached John and asked, "John, how do your crops grow so well when there is so little rain? What is your secret?" John smiled warmly and replied, "There is no secret, my friends. I treat my land with love and care. I water the plants every day, even if it means carrying water from the well. I also make sure the soil is healthy by using natural fertilizers and compost. But most importantly, I never lose hope. The land feels our care and gives back to us." The villagers listened carefully and realized that John's success was not due to any magic, but to his hard work, perseverance, and love for his land. As the drought continued, life in the village became more difficult. Many families struggled to find enough food, and some began to lose hope. One evening, a traveler arrived in the village. He was a weary and tired man, dressed in simple clothes, and carried nothing but a small bag. He knocked on several doors, asking for food and shelter, but the villagers, worried about their own survival, turned him away. When the traveler reached John's house, he knocked softly on the door. John opened the door and saw the tired man standing there. Without hesitation, he invited the traveler inside. "Please come in," John said kindly. "You look tired and hungry. Let me offer you some food and a place to rest." The traveler smiled and thanked John. He sat at the table, while Mary prepared a simple meal of bread, vegetables, and fresh milk. The traveler ate gratefully, and after finishing, John showed him a small room where he could rest for the night. The next morning, as the sun rose, the traveler thanked John and said, "You are a kind man, John. You did not hesitate to help a stranger in need. I want to repay your kindness." John shook his head and said, "There is no need for repayment. Helping others is the right thing to do. We all need a little kindness from time to time." The traveler smiled and said, "You have a good heart, John, but I insist on giving you something in return." He then revealed that he was a wise man with special powers. "I bless your land, John. Your kindness and hard work will always be rewarded. Your land will remain fertile, and your crops will grow abundantly." John was surprised, but grateful. He thanked the traveler, who then continued on his journey. As the days passed, John noticed that his crops grew even better than before. The soil seemed richer, and the plants thrived despite the ongoing drought. Word of John's flourishing fields spread throughout the village, and soon many villagers came to him for help. John, being the kind man he was, shared his vegetables with those in need. He also took the time to teach others how to care for their land, just as he did. Slowly, the village began to change. Inspired by John's example, the villagers started working together. They shared their resources, helped each other with their fields, and supported one another through the difficult times. The sense of community grew stronger, and the village became a happier place. One day, the village elder called a meeting and said, "We have all learned an important lesson from John. His kindness and hard work have not only saved his family, but have also helped our entire village. Let us remember that when we help each other and work together, we can overcome any challenge." The villagers agreed and decided to continue helping one another. They formed a community garden where everyone could contribute and share the harvest. They also organized regular gatherings to discuss ways to improve their village and support each other. Over time, the drought ended and the rains returned. The fields became lush and green once again. The village flourished and the people lived happily. They never forgot the lesson they learned from John, that kindness, hard work, and community spirit could bring great rewards. John continued to work on his land, but now he was no longer alone. His neighbors often joined him, and together they cultivated the fields, shared stories, and enjoyed the fruits of their labor. The village became a shining example of what could be achieved when people worked together and supported each other. As the years passed, John's story was passed down from generation to generation. It became a beloved tale, teaching children the importance of kindness, perseverance, and helping others. And so, the village continued to thrive, and John's legacy lived on, reminding everyone that with love, care, and unity, anything is possible.